Oh, yeah. Well, no, I meant C though. Yeah, so you can use physics. Whatever. But after you do physics, you go C, calculus. But two, and in free, yeah. But tell me, so it's because it's basically just electrical and magnetic, yeah.
I know. I like to sleep it open. It always has. And I said, it's literally always like that. You like walk the girls' bathroom right here. The girls' bathroom. It's like you walk, and then I was like, yeah. You guys all grab and the penis. I just said, we're about to start thinking, but I was like.
Oh, Miss Joyner, I was at the crash out last night.
Why?
Because
that homework.
Yes, but I keep getting it right, but the way I'm doing the arrows is wrong. I do the homework today.
But we have one more today, sadly.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But if you need to go back in, did you end up getting it or no?
No,
Okay, we'll do it today. That's okay. All right. Okay, today let's go ahead and get started. So Chromebooks, let's close those up, put them away. Okay, let's close Chromebooks up, please. So your notes for today, okay, I know last time was a little much. Today we're doing a second day. We're just going to add what are called step functions. But step functions are like easy piecewise. Okay, so if you need to go back and work on last time's homework, okay, you will have time to do that today if you need it. And then if not, you'll just focus on today's. Okay, so remember f of x is referring to the y value. Okay, remember that y value has to be what kind of dot? From last class, if you're looking for an f. Open or closed? Closed is correct. So I'm going to put here closed dot, okay, for any x value. And then the hole punch here is f of x. Sorry, the hole punch kind of got in the way. Okay, so remember, has to be a closed dot for the f's. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what are called piecewise functions. The nice thing about piecewise functions is that your equation is always a Hoy. If you remember, Hoys are just the flat lines. So that's why it's called a step function, is because it's going to look like a set of steps. Okay, so let's go to the first one. For all of the x's less than or equal to 2, your step height is going to be -3. So go to -3. You're going to draw in a couple of steps across. But then you're only going to connect them in, remember, what we called the active zone, which is going to be from 2 to the left. Okay, then I do have an equal to on my inequality. So will this be an open or a closed endpoint? Closed, very good. Okay, my next step is going to be at a y value of 6. But it's not going to start until 5. So you'll count out to 5, put your step at a height of 6, draw a couple dots across. And then if it's a greater than 5, you're connecting to the right. And then what kind of circle for that step? Open. Very good. Okay, so the first number is going to tell you where the Hoy or the step goes. And then the second part tells you the active zone, which is just like last class. Okay, take a look at the next one. We're going to have 3 steps. My first step, how high is it going to be? 8. And where is it going to start? At 0, but it's going to point for less than to the left. So go to 8 at 0. Draw your step to the left. And then we need to determine what kind of circle. It is a less than or equal to, which indicates a closed circle at 0. Okay, my second step is going to be how high? 6, it's going to start at 2, stop at 4. So this is going to be a little short step. Okay, so 2 is here. I'm going to start at 6 and I'm going to cut across till 4. So 6 is the height of the step. 2 to 4 is the active zone. And then what kind of circles for that piece? Both open. Very good. Okay, this should look maybe a little more open than it does, but just pretend. Okay, last step is going to be at height 2. And I want it to start at 6. And if it's a greater than, I want it to point to the right. So 6 would be here. Height is 2 to the right forever. What kind of circle for that one? Closed. Very good. Okay, then you have a couple of F's that you're asked to find. So let's just do them for that second graph. So if I want F of 0, remember 0 is the X value, and then I have to just count how high to make it back to my graph. So I would have to go to 8. Very good. Now, if I'm wanting F of 4, I would count out here to 4, but then the only circle that I can map to is open, undefined. Very good. Remember, that doesn't count if it's open. Okay, so I'm going to put there no closed dot. Okay, has to be closed for you to pick a Y value. All right, taking a look at number 2. How many steps do we have? 2 steps. Where is the lowest step? How low? -3. And then for that step, what X does it start at? What number? 2, and it's 2 to the left, so I'll put X less than 2. So this is the step height. This is the active zone for that step. Do I want an equal to on that?
No.
No, because it's open. Very good. Okay, then for my second step, how high is it? 2. And for the active zone, it still starts at an X of 2, but it points to the right. So we would do X greater than 2. And then someone said this last time, and it kind of makes sense to me, so maybe it'll help if you forget which way is which. Think like a less than is like pointing to the left. And then a greater than is like pointing to the right. So if that helps, use that. Okay, F of 0. 0 is right here in the middle. Do I go up or down to stay on a step? Down how many? So if I'm at 0, I'd have to go down 3. Okay, for F of 2, my only choices are open. What do I put? Undefined. Now, F of 100 is not going to be present on this graph, but even if I go all the way out to 100, which of these steps will I be on? The -3 step or the 2 step? 2. Good. All right, turn the page. I think we can probably just do maybe one more of these. So let's do just the first one. Okay, since the steps are pretty easy for Piecewise. Okay, for my first one, how low is the step? -1, and it's only active for X's left of 2. So 2 is here. Draw your step in at -1. Okay, it should go to the left forever. What type of circle at 2? Open. Second step, what's my height? 4, what's my active zone? X between what 2 numbers? 2 and 5, very good. So go to a height of 4, and you're only going to connect the dots from 2 to 5. Now remember, the circles don't have to be the same on both sides. In this case, my 2 circle will be what type? Closed, but my 5 circle will be open. Good. So closed, open. Okay, then last one. What's the height of my third and final step? 9, but it's only active from 5 to 10. So 9 would be here. We're connecting only from 5 to 10. 5 is open, 10 is closed. Now, one thing when you do today's homework, okay, you should never have two closed dots on top of each other. And the reason why is that if I were to ask you for, let's say, f of 2, and both of these are closed, then how would you know which one to map to? Okay, so that should never happen, that if you have two dots and they're on top of each other, only one of them should show as closed. Get the idea? Okay, that being said, the rest of the questions in this packet are what we did last time. So I'm going to do 3 questions as a refresher, okay, because those are still on your homework today, and then we'll be going into the homework so you have quite a bit of time to get it done before the weekend. Okay, so go to number 4. Okay, number 4, we're going to start with the piece of the equation that has an x in it. So the 2/3 x minus 2. If you have your cheat sheet out, you're welcome to look at it. What family or shape is the 2/3 x minus 2 going to be? It is a linear, which means this is my m, this is my b. Remember, the b is a y-intercept. It should say that on your cheat sheet. So go to -2. And then remember, m is your rise over run. So I'm going to rise over run 2/3. So that's rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then I can also go the other way, down 2, back 3, down 2, back 3. So we started at -2. Our slope was a rise 2, run 3. Once you have your dots, remember, you might not use all of them. We have to check the active zone to see which dots we're going to connect. Does anyone remember what this happens to mean?
It's like everywhere.
Everywhere but that number. Very good. So when I connect my dots, I'm going to connect all of them except not where? -3. So -3 is this dot right here. So I'm going to connect all of these, but I'm going to leave that one spot open. Okay, and then if you want to write next to this, this is everywhere except not -3. And then remember, to exclude that point, you would use an open circle. Okay? Then your piecewise is going to give you an alternative spot to put the dot at -3. When x is equal to -3, where is my solo point going to go? At 6. Very good. So -3, I'll place my dot here at 6. Okay? So for the whole number line, I'm mapping to the 2/3 x minus 2, except for that one dot, I'm going to map to 6 instead. Okay, that is the first type of piecewise where everywhere else you're using the same equation except at one spot. Okay, take a look at your second graph. X minus 4 is still a line. So I'm going to go to -4. And then remember that if it's a positive x, it's a perfect diagonal. You don't have to count out a slope. If it's a plus x, it's uphill. Minus x would be downhill. So I'm just going to draw in a few dots here. Okay, remember a positive x is a diagonal uphill. What is the active zone for me to connect the dots? Yep, from -2 to 3. So that means I'm connecting my -2 all the way through to my 3. Now, if this was your homework, do you remember? You can just click those dots and they'll erase off your graph. -2, what kind of circle? Open. What about at 3? Closed. Okay, because we're not including -2, but we are including 3. Okay, for the whole rest of the graph, my y value is going to be 4. And remember, that's a hoi, or as we called it today, a step. Okay, so the height is going to be at 4. It's going to start at 6. And then remember, if you think about that as an arrow, it's going to point that way. So here's my 4 dots. You can just put a couple of them on here. But I'm not going to start connecting till 6. And then I see that's going to be an open circle. Okay. Then I'm trusting you can do the F's, hopefully. All right. Turn the page. Last one we'll do today. Let's do number 9. Okay, for number 9, the top equation, what shape is that going to be? It is a U, and what's going to be different about it because of the negative in the front? It's going to go down. So if you want to draw, your U should look like this. Now remember, the +4 and the +1, those move it around. So for the +4, which way are we going to shift? Left, and the +1, we're going to go up. So left 4, up 1. And then if you have your little cheat sheet, you can look at it, but the jumps are a 1 jump, then a 3 jump. So we'll go 1 jump down, 3 jump down. 1, 3. We're only connecting the dots for the U in its active zone, which is from -6 to -2. And that actually is all 5 of the dots that I plotted. Okay, but make sure you're not going to go beyond those numbers. So like the little ends of the U are going to get chopped off. What type of circles at -6 and -2? Both closed. For my bottom piece, I have a 1/2 x + 1. What shape is that? Linear. So we're going to start at our B. Begin at your B. Remember, it's on the y-axis, so I'd go to +1. And then remember, M is your rise over run. So I'm going to rise over run 1/2. So up 1/2, up 1/2, up 1/2, up 1/2. Now, if I was about to connect the dots, and let's say I did exactly what I just put, I need to connect all the way back to -2. And notice that I didn't put a dot there. So make sure that you're careful. If you're going up and forward, you can also go down and backwards. So I'm going to have to add 1 more dot here to the left so that I have 1 to connect it with. Okay, then -2 needs to connect all the way through to 8. So that would be here all the way to here. Okay, then hopefully we're good with this part, but that's going to be an open circle at -2, closed circle at 8. Questions on that? Okay, go ahead and pull out your Chromebooks. Yeah. Okay, your priority should be try to finish last time's homework first. Okay, but we are going to do 1 question off today's homework together, just to kind of make sure that you remember how to use the features. All right, your homework was hidden, but you should be able to see it now. It literally did. All right, and then we're going into the very first question. We're planning on doing that one together. All right, very first question. Okay, first piece. Now, the order that you do these in doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to do the step first and then the line second. So let's start here. What is the y value for the step? -4. So go into your top row. You're going to put -4 for your y value. Okay, then you need to describe the active zone. So where does that step cut off? What x value? -3, and it points to the left. So I'm going to put for x's less than -3. You'll notice you have all your inequality options down here at the bottom. Okay, you can also pick them off your keyboard if you like that. All right, so my step is done. It's at -4. It goes from -3 to the left for the active zone. Now let's do the line. Okay, the problem with this line is that it doesn't quite reach back to the origin. So I can't tell what its y-intercept is. So we're going to have to count the slope and then extend the line backwards. So find yourself a pretty point. Okay, I see that there's one right here. And so I'm going to count the rise over run from here to my pretty point. So how many boxes down? 5. And then how many over? So my equation is going to be y equals -5 over 3x. So far, we're not done. So the first thing I did was count my slope. It's down 5 over 3. Okay, then I need to know what my b is, right? And I don't know what my b is because my line didn't quite go back far enough. So I'm just going to start here and repeat the pattern. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Where would this line hit at? +4. Very good. So in your second row, you're going to type -5 over 3 x plus 4. Okay, take a look at that. Let me know if you don't have to type the y equals, okay, because it already has the f of x equals in the big bracket. Okay, next I need to list the active zone. What x does that downhill line start at? 3, and does it go to the left or does it arrow to the right? To the right, then do I want a greater than 3 or a less than 3? Greater than. Okay, also check your circle. Okay, for this one, it does happen to already be open, so I don't have to put an equal to, and then that would be your answer. Okay? Also, make sure your x here, it can't be on bottom with the 3. So when you typed it, make sure your x is like next to the fraction, not in the bottom. Okay? All right, maybe we'll do one more together. Will you find the first level 2? We should all have the same level 2 question. Am I good to take this off? Everybody got it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so in your menu, you have several level 1s, then you have a level 2. From the top, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first thing I'm going to do is start with the line. Remember, I have to have 2 pretty points to count the slope. So I see that I already have a perfect point here at 5. And then I'm going to pick one more pretty point at 8. Now remember, when you count your rise over run, you really want to be running forward if you can. So I'm not going to count from 8 backwards to 5. I'm going to start at 5 and go to 8. How many up? Over. So my slope is 3 over 1x. Now, quick question. Do you have to type the over 1? No, if you just put 3x, that's the same. Okay, but since we're kind of counting out rise over run, I'm going to put 3 over 1x. Okay, then plus b. What does b stand for? Y-intercept, where does it cross? 5. So this one, it gave it to me that I don't have to like work backwards. So 3x plus 5. And then where am I using that line? Everywhere except where? At this open circle, -3. I'm not going to map there. So you're going to put x not equal to -3. So it should look like that. All right. Last thing we need to do is map our solo point. When x does equal -3, where is the height of my solo point or my dot? +3. So it should look like that. So this is your line for everywhere else. This is your solo point. Remember, the y value goes in the first part for the step, and the x value or active zone goes in the second part. Y'all have any questions? Okay, so you have all the rest of class to work on this. That's a whole hour. Ask me if you need a reset or if you need help. Y'all are welcome to work together. Remember, last time's homework, you can still finish it today if you didn't quite finish. Okay? Yes.